First at 9 this Monday, the 10th of March 2025. Opening old wounds. Government urged to table Batalanda Commission report in Parliament. Deputy Minister pledges to expedite investigations. Legal showdown. IGP Tennakon petitions for an interim injunction to nullify the pending arrest warrant. Court set to hear the appeal on Wednesday. Education crisis. Only 15 candidates recruited for special education programs in teacher training institutions. Complains Government MP Sugat De Silva. Opposition leader proposes a trust fund to strengthen education funding. Polls heat up. Former Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa to contest the upcoming local government elections. Ex-SJB MP Eran Vikramaratne ice Colombo mayor's seat.
Chilo Dairy, Sri Lanka Kiren Perata. Obe Vishwasi Dino Sensorain, then Lagamati Pharmacy in Labagata Hacker.
Kanta Parisankaragato? Ape Parisan.
ඉතින් මොකටද නිකන් නාගන්නේ? ස්වදේශී කොහොඹ ලෙමන් ග්‍රාස් අද කාලෙට ෆ්‍රෙෂ්ම විසඳුම.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9, brought to you by Sri Lanka's most trusted news source, Derana. I'm Tharindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. In your top story this evening, the Court of Appeals today scheduled for further consideration on the 12th of March, the writ petition filed by Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tennakon seeking an interim injunction nullifying the pending arrest warrant against him. During the consideration of the petition today, the IGP's lawyers requested a short-term injunction preventing Tennakon's arrest, but the Court of Appeals refused the request. It has been 12 days since arrest warrants were issued against Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tennakon and 7 others in connection with the death of a Colombo Crime Division officer in a shooting near a hotel in Valigama Matara on the 31st of December 2023. Against this backdrop, the IGP filed a writ petition before the Court of Appeal on the 7th of March seeking an interim injunction suspending the relevant order. In his petition, the IGP states that the investigation, which was initially conducted by the Valigama police, was later taken over by the Criminal Investigation Department and claimed that since then the investigation has been conducted with the influence of Secretary to the Minister of Public Security Ravi Senaviratne and Director of the Central Criminal Intelligence Analysis Bureau Shani Abesekara. He alleges that as a result the investigation is being conducted in a biased and malicious manner, targeting him with political influence. Accordingly, IGP Tennakon requests a writ nullifying the court order to arrest him and an interim injunction to stay the arrest warrant until a ruling is issued in regard to the petition. He further requests a writ to nullify the decision to conduct the investigation into the relevant incident through the Criminal Investigation Department with the intervention of Ravi Senaviratne and Shamni Abesekara. The petition was taken up this morning before a 2-member appeals court bench comprising Acting President of the Court of Appeal Justice Mohammed Lafa Tahir and Justice Sarat Dissanayaka. During the proceedings, President's Counsel Romesh De Silva, who appeared on behalf of the petitioner Deshabandhu Tennakon, stated that the order issued by the Matara Magistrates Court to arrest his client in connection with the Valigama shooting is contrary to law. As such, President's Counsel De Silva requested the court to issue a short-term interim injunction suspending the arrest warrant issued against IGP Tennakon. Subsequently, the judge bench ordered that the petition be scheduled for further consideration on the 12th of March after notices are served to the respondents to the petition. In the meantime, the Criminal Investigation Department last night launched a search operation at the Matara residence of the Bus Nayaka Nilame of the Ruhunu Maha Kataragama Devalaya, Dishan Gunasekara. This was following information received that IGP Deshabandhu Tennakon was in hiding at the premises. Against this backdrop, Dishan Gunasekara was summoned to the CID premises today to provide a statement.
This behavior is unacceptable as a citizen. Only my mother, who is 84 years of age, and 2 servants live in that house. They did not have a search warrant, nor were they in uniform. Those who arrived at the house last night was dressed in civil attire. They couldn't even authenticate their identities. When inquired from the Malimbada police station, they were not aware of such an incident. The CID officials had recorded a statement from my mother saying that she was not harmed. Before leaving, they had said that they were there to check if IGP was sheltering there.
පිරිපුන් ජීවිතයකට ඔබ සමගින් පෙරට Union Assurance. චන්දරුසුමේ කාගෙන් වන අපේ සිග TV සඳහා සුපිරි ඩීල්.
Don't waste time. Start your degree with pending A-level results this February with our partner universities. Call ACBT on 0117 699 499.
Malibu chocolate cream, inguru and lemon puff. Less sugar, same great taste. From Malibu.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa proposed the establishment of a trust fund for all schools under the free education system with contributions from affluent individuals in local communities to enhance funding for school development. He made this statement in Parliament today during the 10th day of the committee stage debate on the 2025 budget. Meanwhile, Government MP Sugat Vasanta De Silva, representing the disabled community in Sri Lanka, urged the government to clarify why only 15 special education teachers were recruited despite a nationwide shortage of nearly 400.
In the budget presented by the government in 2025, we have allocated a record high amount of 619 billion rupees for education. Currently, there are incomplete school buildings with some construction projects having started a long time ago but left unfinished. These structures pose a serious risk to children. Recognizing the urgency of this matter, we have allocated 11 billion rupees to complete these unfinished projects. Furthermore, we have decided that starting this year, no child should have to attend school without access to proper sanitary facilities.
The foster caring in education project was planned for implementation under a government led by the SJB Alliance. When this initiative was first introduced, some people dismissed it due to a lack of understanding. By fostering connections between our schools and universities with prestigious institutions abroad, we can create a new program to secure essential resources. Additionally, we propose establishing a trust fund for all 10,096 schools under system of free education with contributions from affluent individuals in local communities. This initiative will provide schools with necessary facilities through a structured program without creating financial strain. As a result, we can significantly increase the funding allocated to the country's education system. Additionally, I would like to ask the Prime Minister, during the elections you promised to abolish VAT on school supplies. Why has this not been implemented? You yourself acknowledge that university lecturers staged a massive protest demanding that 6% of GDP be allocated for education. However, according to the Committee on Public Finance, only 0.84% of GDP has been allocated for education in this year's budget. Even last year, 0.86% of GDP was allocated.
මේ වසරේ වෙන් කරලා තිබෙන්නේ 0.84යි. ගිය අවුරුද්දෙත් වෙන් වුණා 0.86යි.
In February 2024, the Sri Lankan government reached an agreement with the Chinese government to supply 1,000 smart boards to schools. The government spent 1.5 billion rupees to purchase these boards. However, the promised technical support from China was never received. As a result, these 1,000 boards are now left unused and deteriorating in storage facilities. Our policy is not to find 10,000 multimillionaires for 10,000 schools. We are committed to ensuring that free education remains under government control. The private sector can offer support, and even the opposition lead is welcome to restart the school bus donation program. There is no issue with that.
Special education must be prioritized in these reforms. There is currently a shortage of approximately 400 special education teachers. However, despite this urgent need, only 15 candidates have been recruited for special education programs programs in teacher training institutions. Who made this decision and why were such short-sighted policies implemented? If this situation continues, special education will collapse, directly affecting the education of children with special needs.
ආබාධ සහිත දුවදරුවන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපනය කඩා වැටෙනවා කියන එක. ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාව දැනගැනීමේ වාසිය ගැන
I do not need to remind anyone in this house of the importance of English proficiency. We all understand the significant value that a strong command of English adds to a university degree. Without English, life becomes significantly more challenging. If you are serious about revolutionizing the education system and stopping students from enrolling in private schools that lack a proper curriculum and the advancement in fields such as science, law and the arts, we must introduce English medium classes in all secondary schools.
මේ රටේ ද්විතීයක පාසල් සියල්ලම ඉංග්‍රීසි මාධ්‍ය පන්ති පටන් ගන්න ඕන.
අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමියනි ඔබතුමිය හොර සහතික දීලා නැහැ කියලා මන් දන්නවා.
Prime Minister, I know that you have not used fake educational certificates. However, there is growing speculation among teachers and educational officials about whether you or Deputy Minister Mahinda Jayasinghe is truly leading the Ministry of Education. Even I have started to doubt it. There are former Inter-University Students Federation members in this house. I urge you to reflect on the consequences of halting much needed education reforms in the past and how much the country has suffered due to this stagnation. Therefore, I urge you to implement these reforms without delay. There are no obstacles now. We all want a better pathway for the education system.
මේ ශිෂ්‍යයන් කුලප්පු කරන්න අද කවුරුත් නැහැ. අපි හැමෝම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ මේ අධ්‍යාපනයේ යහ ගමනක් යන්න.
A memorandum was submitted to the Presidential Secretariat today requesting that the Commission report regarding the Batalanda Detention Centre be tabled in Parliament. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Public Security Sunil Vatagala claimed that investigations into the incidents in Batalanda would be expedited and government would take action against individuals implicated regardless of their status. Information was reported that an illegal detention centre and torture chamber were maintained in the Batalanda housing project of the State Fertiliser Manufacturing Corporation from 1988 to 1990, and accusations were levelled against former President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who was the Minister of Industry and Science at the time. A commission was appointed to investigate the incident during the presidency of Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, and its final report was submitted to government in 1995. This matter once again came to the forefront when former President Ranil Wickremesinghe was questioned about it on Al Jazeera's head-to-head programme broadcast a few days ago. Against this backdrop, Chairman of the Citizens Movement Against Fraud, Corruption and Waste, Jamuni Kamanta Tushara, today submitted a memorandum to the Presidential Secretariat requesting that the relevant Commission report be tabled in Parliament.
Even though former President Chandrika Kumaratunga presented the Batalanda Commission report on the 21st of December 1995, this report must be tabled in Parliament. Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Senior Superintendent of Police Nalin Delgoda. These individuals are responsible for the alleged detention centres and torture chambers that were held in housing units B2, B8, B34 and A18 at the Batalanda housing scheme. There's a recommendation in this report that says that Ranil Wickremesinghe can be stripped of his civil rights.
Meanwhile, the Frontline Socialist Party commented on the matter.
During the recent Al Jazeera interview, a journalist from the BBC presented the Batalanda Commission report. However, Ranil Wickremesinghe confidently said that the report is not official and it was not approved by Parliament. He fearlessly says the government of former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, who commissioned this report against him, did not table it in Parliament to take action against him. However, the question is not only about Ranil Wickremesinghe or the Batalanda detention centre. During the insurgency period, there were many detention centres and torture chambers across the country. If one wants to bring justice to parents of children who disappeared during this period, an investigation must be launched into this matter, and we expect political and legal provisions to prevent a repeat of this history.
In the meantime, Deputy Minister of Public Security Sunil Vatagala claimed that investigations into the incidents in Batalanda would be expedited.
During the Al Jazeera interview, questions were raised regarding the Batalanda detention centre. If Ranil Wickremesinghe is mentioned in the Batalanda Commission report, the government will definitely expedite the investigations. We do not care about any individual's position, be it a former president, former prime minister or Inspector General of Police.
Fast track your career from O-levels with eSoft.
ඩයබටිසෝල් සීනිවලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට අමතක නොවන පෝෂණය.
කැලනි වයර් කිසිගින්නක් නෑ.
කිසිගින්නක් නෑ. කැලනි ෆයර් ෂීල්ඩ් වයර්.
Malibu chocolate cream, inguru and lemon puff. Less sugar, same great taste. From Malibu.
Responsibility to look after our health.
The best nutritional supplement for diabetic patients with no added sugar. Maliban Vitagen. Stay healthy for a good reason.
President Anura Dissanayake says the end goal of all of Sri Lanka's development efforts must be the establishment of a harmonious society. He made this remark today during the state ceremony for the presentation of the Sannaspatra to Chief Prelate of the Sri Lanka Amarapura sect, Most Venerable Karagoda Uyangoda Maitri Murti Thera. The state ceremony for the presentation of the Sannaspatra to Chief Prelate of the Sri Lanka Amarapura sect, Most Venerable Karagoda Uyangoda Maitri Murti Thera was held today at the BMICH with the attendance of Trinitarian Mahasangha and President Anura Dissanayake.
අපිතාම ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කරනු ලබනවා උත්තරීතර මහානාහිමිපාණන් වහන්සේ වෙත ශ්‍රී සන්නස්පත්‍රය පිළිගැන්වීමට.
ජනාධිපතිතුමනි ඔබතුමා නව ගමනක් ආරම්භ කරලා තිබෙනවා.
The president is on a new journey, a journey to build a theological land, a journey of law, justice, humanity and equality. I urge you to pay attention to building a theological land while drafting a new constitution. I wish to remind you of the Buddhist Discourse Act. It is a task to be completed by the Buddhist clergy, not by the government. The government has to fulfill the requirements of the Buddhist clergy.
ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේලා නියම කරන දේ කරන්න තමයි ආණ්ඩුවට තියෙන්නේ.
අපේ සමාජයේ විශාල බිඳවැටීමකට භාජනය වී තිබෙනවා.
The whole of society has collapsed. Human connections have been destroyed by the influence of money. We are all faced with the challenge of healing society. First of all, we have to create a society that abides by the law. When the head of the institution established to uphold law and order is evading the law, how do we invite the public to build a society that abides by the law? If the main shareholders of the economy doesn't let it trickle down through society fairly, how can the public trust in economic equity? We might accomplish economic goals and we might be able to provide examples politically, but our end goal should be a harmonious society. Our accomplishments in all other fields will not matter if we fail at building that harmonious society. The Buddhist clergy plays a major role in healing society. Other religions also have to contribute towards it. The proposed act on Buddhist discourse was mentioned. We have discussed that when I met with the chief prelates. If it is getting delayed, I have been informed that section 41 and 42 of the Buddhist Temples and Shrines Act has to be amended at least. We have already drafted the amendments. We intend to present it to Cabinet and then to Parliament as soon as possible so that we can allow the Buddhist clergy to enact the relevant reforms. An act on the whole procedure has to be passed. We will seek the Buddhist clergy's advice on that. I don't believe that society moves forward by just abiding by the law. We have to build a society that empathizes with one another.
සමාජයක් පවතින මිනිසුන් අතර අනේකා පිළිබඳ සහකම්පනත් සහිත සමාජයක් අපි නිර්මාණය කරගත යුතුයි.
Welcome back. Now here's a look at local news across the island in brief. The Colombo Magistrates Court ordered a suspect arrested for disseminating false information regarding Ishara Sewandi, a prime suspect in the investigation into the murder of underworld operator Ganemula Sanjeeva, to be remanded until the 24th of March. The order was issued after the Colombo Crime Division informed the court that the suspect's actions had obstructed the ongoing investigation into Ganemula Sanjeeva's murder. In the meantime, the police headquarters has announced a cash reward of 1.2 million rupees for any person who provides accurate information leading to the apprehension of Ishara Sewandi, who continues to evade arrest. Meanwhile, a 31-year-old woman was arrested for deceiving people by promising to pay attractive interest rates for investments through social media platforms. The suspect, who was apprehended by the Hatton police last evening, has reportedly obtained 4.5 million rupees through the fraudulent scheme. In other local news, a three-wheeler travelling from Chilao to Colombo collided with a bus and a lorry in the Madampe area last night, resulting in the deaths of 3 people. 9 people had been travelling in the three-wheeler at the time of the accident, and according to police, the drivers of both the three-wheeler and the bus had been under the influence of narcotic drugs at the time of the collision. The driver of the three-wheeler dozing off at the wheel is suspected to be the cause of the accident. Former Speaker of Parliament and Minister Chamal Rajapaksa says he will contest the upcoming local government elections. Meanwhile, former parliamentarian Hirunika Premachandra suggested that former MP Eran Vikramaratne could be the Samagu Janabalawege's mayoral candidate for Colombo. With that, here's a look at the latest political developments ahead of the local government elections.
According to rumours, Eran Vikramaratne will contest the upcoming election as the mayoral candidate for the Colombo Municipal Council. Although it's not official, it is expected that Eran Vikramaratne will contest. He holds numerous educational qualifications from universities worldwide and is a leader who understands the thoughts and desires of the people. I believe he was not considered this time as he was in the previous election. It seems that this time Eran Vikramaratne has been chosen instead.
We will announce our candidate at the appropriate time. Colombo is the commercial capital of the country. Electing a candidate who is dependent on others will harm both businessmen and the public more than the current government.
මුදුජන පෙරමුණෙන් මමත් රාජ්‍ය සභාවට ඉල්ලන්න තමයි මේ ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ. ඒ නිසා විශාල තරුණ පිරිසක් මේ ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නවා. තරඟ කරන්න කොහොම ඉන්නවා. අද හොඳ පිබිදීමක් ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒතරම මට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. මමත් ඉල්ලනවා ඒකට. නෑ ඉතින් අපිත් එහෙම අපි ඉහළ යනවා පහළ යනවා. ඒක දැන් පහළින් පටන් ගන්නවා අපව. දැන් චමල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයාත් පළාත් පාලන නැති කරගන්න දාලා දෙනවා ඉතින්. චමල් තරඟ නොකරනවා නම් එයාට ගුණයි කියලා හිතන්නේ. දැන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය දැන් ඔබතුමාලා ගියානේ මේ අතරලා ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය අතරලා ගියා. අදත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයට ඇවිල්ලා නෑ. අද ආවේ නෑ මේ මැතිවරණ ගැන සාකච්ඡා කරා. මේ පළාත් පාලන මැතිවරණ ඉල්ලන්නේ නැද්ද? නෑ නෑ. ගෑස් සිලින්ඩරයට ඉදිරිපත් වුණු පක්ෂ ගණනාවක් අපෙන් ඉල්ලීමක් කරා පොදු ජන එක්සත් පෙරමුණ යටතේ තරඟ කරමුය කියලා. ලලිත් එල්ලාවල මැතිතුමා දන්නවා පළාත් පාලන ආයතනයේ දක්ෂ නායකත්වයක් දීලා ඔහු ඊට පස්සේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට පත් වෙලා හොඳ සේවයක් කරපු නායකයෙක් අද දිනේ නැවත වැටිලා තියෙන පළාත් පාලන බල ප්‍රදේශයක් විදියට බණ්ඩාරගම ඔහු විසින් හදලා අද නැත්තර නැති වෙලා. ඒ නැවත ගොඩනගා ගන්න සහ ඉදිරි දේශපාලන ගමන එක්ක බණ්ඩාරගම ආසනයට නායකත්වය දෙන්න ලලිත් එල්ලාවල මැතිතුමා අද එකතු වෙලා ඉන්නවා.
මේ දැන් දවස් 3කට ඉස්සෙල්ලා විශාල ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේලා පිරිසක් ගෙදරට වැඩම කළා කිව්වේ ඔබතුමා බණ්ඩාරගම හොඳට හදපු කෙනෙක්. මේ ප්‍රාදේශීය සභාවට නායකත්වය දෙන්න. ප්‍රොසාන් රන්සිංහ මැතිතුමාලත් එක්ක දිලීප් ජයවීර මැතිතුමාලත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා මේක හරියට කරන්න ඔබතුමාගේ සහයෝගය දෙන්න කියලා. මම තීන්දුව කළා සහයෝගය දෙන්න.
Internationally acclaimed American musician Aloe Black arrived in Sri Lanka this morning upon an official invitation from the Sri Lankan government. Speaking to media, Aloe Black stated that he hopes to be a part of Sri Lanka's development and growth and proclaimed that Sri Lanka will be a place for future investors. Internationally acclaimed American musician Aloe Black arrived at the Bandaranaike International Airport this morning. Black arrived in the country at the invitation of the Sri Lankan government and was warmly welcomed by senior advisor to the President on Science and Technology, Professor Gomiko Dugamasuriya.
Today is a good day for all of us. Internationally acclaimed artist Aloe Black arrived in Sri Lanka today upon my invitation. He came to the country for many reasons, and the main reason is that he is ready to invest in Sri Lanka and he will be looking for investment opportunities. He is also here to support the country's tourism sector. This is a great opportunity for all of us because we are preparing many initiatives for the country's development. Therefore, the arrival of an internationally renowned artist is a good day for the country.
Nice to be here in Sri Lanka. It's my first time. I was lucky enough to meet Dr. Gomiko Udugamasuriya in the United States. I was looking for a brilliant scientist who could find a solution for COVID. The science that I found in his paper was perfect. So I reached out. We started a relationship to build a company to create medicines that can transform the world from cancers to infectious disease to immune dysregulation. His relationship with having Sri Lanka as a homeland is really special. It gives me the opportunity to come here and learn more about the country, to find ways to be part of the development and growth of this beautiful nation. Hopefully be part of a story that expresses to the rest of the world that Sri Lanka is a place to invest in.
In a stock update, the Colombo Bourse commenced the week in negative territory today as banking and capital goods sectors were largely down during the session. The Colombo Stock Exchange all-share price index slipped 0.171%, settling at 16,000.78 points. The S&P Sri Lanka 20 meanwhile dropped 0.69%, ending at 4,775.10 points. Turnover declined sharply to 824 million rupees in the session, falling steeply below the monthly average. Major contributors to turnover were banks, followed by the food, beverage and tobacco and capital goods sectors. Meanwhile, foreigners closed as net buyers, purchasing shares worth 16 million rupees. Research analyst of Capital Alliance, Imdad Dean, joins us now with a few thoughts to round off our Markets in View segment for the week.
The domestic stock market declined throughout the previous week. The S&P SL20 decreased by 2.5% from 4,931 to 4,808, while the ASPI sank by 2.2% from 16,478 to 16,115. Market turnover increased by 75% to 13.65 billion rupees. Furthermore, the government raised 167 billion rupees last week through treasury bill auctions, with interest rates on 3, 6 and 12-month bills falling by 4, 1 and 1 basis points respectively.
And with that, here's a look at the rupee exchange rates for the day. That's all for tonight on First at 9. For the latest developments around the clock, stay in touch with Ada Derana, the Sri Lankan news brand of international excellence. Thank you for joining. Have a good night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit adaderana.lk.